Hi.
Hi.
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Ed Broms, and I'm Jack McCarthy's piano teacher at South Shore Conservatory.
So I'm just going to ask you a few questions about the piano.
Sure. Okay.
All right. So we opened up the piano. So how long were pianos made? How long were they?
They've been made since the late 1700s, so quite a long time.
Yeah, and so when you press a key, what happens to these little?
Okay. So you want to show them the keys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Here.
So over here, this is called the keyboard because it looks like a long board, and it's full of keys. Some of them are white, and some of them are black, and they're raised up so they fit under our hands. And the way you play the piano is pretty easy. You just press the key down, and then if you go back over here, you can show them what happens. There's hammers inside that come up and hit the strings.
See that? So.
You see that? And then if I play real fast, you can kind of see them. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And then these things are called dampers, and to damp something means to make it quiet. So the hammer comes up and hits the string, the damper comes up and lets it vibrate, which means it moves back and forth really fast. And each note here has 3 strings, and then when I let go of the key, the damper comes down and makes the string quiet. And that way we get one note at a time. So all that works together. And then we have 2 big things in here. We have this big metal piece that holds all the strings, and that's super strong, and it holds the strings on there because the strings are really tight, and there's so many of them that they make a lot of tension. And
why is it that these orange strings are only over here?
Well, those are the long strings. So the longer the string and the thicker the string, the lower the note. That means they vibrate slower. So this low note on the piano vibrates around 27 times a second, which for sound is pretty slow. And that's a big long string. And the longer the string on the piano, the better the piano and the better the sound. And then if you look up here, we have these super short, thin strings. This one up here vibrates about 4,000 times a second. And that's super high. But our ears can hear up to around 20,000 times a second.
I can also hear that it makes a little vibration. Is that because there are no
dampers?
Dampers?
Right, there's no dampers up here because the strings don't really last too long, so they don't really need them. So they do kind of ring freely. And then the last thing I wanted to point out was this big wood piece in here. That's called the soundboard. And what happens is the strings vibrate and pushes the air against the soundboard, and then it comes back out and vibrates around the room, and it vibrates the air. And then it hits our ears and makes our ears vibrate, and that's what we translate in our brains into.
Do you think you could play a quick song for us?
Sure, I could play something. Let's see, what would be a good short song to play? Maybe I can do the Invention.